person ever told me this about motherhood. They always say, you know,
you're gonna be tired, it's like a lack of sleep.
That's all I ever heard. People don't talk about these things. Like, why don't they talk about these things? Every mother should know this. Like, hey, it's Shay. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. If you're new here, this channel is all about motherhood, lifestyle, and beauty. So if that's something that you think you'd be interested in, hit that subscribe button below and join the family. I would love to have you as one of my viewers. A lot of the things that I'm going to say in this video is not for everyone. Everyone's, circumstances are different. I'm just speaking from my experience as a mother, and I'm a first-time mom. My son is 16 months, so I'm fairly new at this whole parenthood, motherhood thing. So let's just get started. So the first thing that no one really told me about motherhood is that, how can I put this? Motherhood can be lonely. Now, even if you're married, what I mean by lonely is, of course you might have your spouse and your partner. I don't mean in that sense. Of course you have help, but personally for me, my mom and my in-laws are about 4 hours away, so that's the closest family we had. So we really didn't have any family, but we did have a great circle of friends from our church. So when you first have your baby, it can be really lonely, especially because I had my baby in the middle of a pandemic, so I wasn't going anywhere. No one was coming to me. I mean, our parents did come stay with us that first week he was born, but other than that, we were pretty much on our own. My husband was working, so when he was gone, it was just me and the baby all day. So it can get lonely if you don't reach out to anyone. That's how I'm gonna put it. It'll get lonely if you don't reach out for help. You cannot do motherhood alone. No one could do it alone. I know when we're growing up, we feel like, oh my gosh, well at least I did. I felt like my mother was freaking superwoman. Like, I felt that she did everything on her own, and like looking back now, I realized that she did have a lot of help from family. Not taking away from what she was able to do, because she did do a lot on her own as a single mother, but she got help, and no one can do motherhood alone. You shouldn't have to do motherhood alone. So what I like to do is I joined some groups that are very helpful. There's some Facebook groups, but it's better to get to know people that actually live in your neighborhood and live in your city. So for me, I joined a group called MOPS, and it stands for Mothers of Preschoolers. And it's actually international, so you can also go on their website. I'll leave a link below. You can see if they have one in your town or your city where you're from. It's very helpful if you have little ones. So again, that's MOPS, Moms of Preschoolers. Really great group. I love it there so much. We meet once a month, and you get to know other people who are in your situation or have gone through what you're going through. So you definitely don't feel alone. Join some groups if you can, even if it's just a Facebook group. There are other people who are going through what you're going through, so that you don't feel like you're alone. That's my number one thing. No one told me that I was going to feel like that, and that is not a good feeling to have. Definitely don't do it on your own. Reach out for help. Don't feel ashamed to ask for help when you need it. I'm still working on that myself. So another thing no one told me about motherhood is that your friendship circle may change or shift. I'm not saying that you will lose friends. I mean, you might lose friends, but maybe they weren't your friends to begin with. So you might have some friends who aren't moms, and they might not understand, why you can't go out, whenever you please, or they might not understand why you can't take this little vacation with them. And yeah, you have your husband, but your baby also needs you. Not saying that you shouldn't go on vacation, but sometimes your babies get sick, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, sometimes it'll be hard for some of your friends to adjust to your new lifestyle as a mom, and that's okay. That's one thing no one told me, that your friendship dynamics will change, and you also will become friends with people you never thought you would be friends with. Like for me, I love being friends with other moms. Nothing against people who aren't mothers, but for someone who understands what I am going through, I love it, because I can talk to them about certain things and they will understand exactly what I'm saying. So for instance, this is really silly, but I remember me and my friend, one of my friends, she's also a mother, but the other two of my friends from college, they're not mothers yet, and we were like in the diner, and we were talking about our baby's poop. Guys, I'm telling you, when you're a mother, trust me, it doesn't faze you. And we were just talking about it, and they're like,
alright, like, you about to eat. Like, what y'all talking about right now? We don't want to hear this.
but like in our head, like for me and her, it's like we deal with this on a regular basis, so it was no big deal. But things like that. But it's not necessarily a bad thing to, make new friends. Like I said, join a mom group or something like that in your area where you can feel like people understand you and, you're getting advice and you're not alone. So yeah, it's okay. Your friendship dynamics may change, but that's okay. The next thing I want to talk about is something I recently went through, and no one told me this. I mean, it's really kind of specific, so I don't expect anyone to tell me this, but when your baby is sick, like whether they have a cold, like recently my son had RSV, so for that whole week I was just like, he just wanted to be on me, and I couldn't get any of the things I usually get done. Like I couldn't get anything done, so he was always on me, and I was on call 24/7. Like I was a full-time nurse. Okay, there was one night he slept on my chest and I didn't get any sleep. He couldn't sleep by himself because he was just in so much discomfort. So he slept on my chest, y'all. I didn't get any sleep that night. So then once I kind of got in that every day, him needing me and me not being able to do what I needed to do, it kind of got me in this little rut where I'm just like, and I'm so frustrated, and I don't want to be productive, and I'm feeling unmotivated. It's just like, it just kind of leads down that dark path of like, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. I am starting to feel better because he was sick, and I guess it was kind of tampering with my mood because I don't like to see my baby that way. The next thing that I want to talk about that no one told me this, no person ever told me this about motherhood. They always say,
you're gonna be tired, it's like a lack of sleep.
Duh, babies don't sleep. That's kind of a given. But after that kind of fades out and they start sleeping through the night, it's not that bad. But after that, sometimes you might just get a little tired of the endless routine of being a mother 24/7. Let me not speak for anybody else. Let me speak for myself. Personally, I just kind of got tired of the endless routine, and I'm kind of getting out of it now. Thank God. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I started feeling unmotivated, and sometimes, especially when my baby is fussy, especially when he's fussy, it definitely messes up my mood, and I'm just like, I don't understand, what am I doing wrong, what's wrong with him, and like you start beating yourself up. That's one thing that no one really told me about, like how to deal with that and what to do when you feel like you're just in a rut, especially as a stay-at-home mom like myself. It can get like an endless routine, especially if you don't go out and you're just home all the time, you're stuck in the house. But what I would say, what works for me is to get out, go on adventures with your baby. Like the other day, we went to a farm and they had like hay rides and all that other stuff, like all the fall stuff. And we had a good time. So just to get out, do anything, even if you're just getting out to run errands, like just get out of the house. So once you get out and you get that momentum going, you might feel a little bit more motivated to be productive and do whatever it is that you need to do. Comment down below if you've experienced burnout and what you did to come out of that, because I'm currently on my way out. But if you could give me some pointers, help your girl out, that would be great. So comment down below. So as I was editing this video, I realized that I left something really important out about motherhood that no one tells you, and that is that a lot of the times you're gonna have to be able to pivot. And what I mean by that is sometimes you might have something planned, and then unexpected things happen, and you just have to learn how to switch it up on the fly. This just happened to me. I was supposed to have a trip to Florida with my friend, and we were gonna take the kids, and then like a couple days before, all of our kids got sick, so we had to cancel the flight and all of that stuff. So things like that can happen a lot of the time. So just don't always expect that your plans are gonna happen as you think they're gonna happen. Just know that at any given moment, your plans can change, and you have to know how to pivot in that moment without, letting it tamper with your mood or, feeling discouraged or anything like that. So that's what I learned about motherhood. But anyway, let's get back to the video. So another thing that no one told me about motherhood, you can kind of lose yourself in motherhood. You're giving your all to this little human, and it's a beautiful thing, but sometimes you might neglect your wants and your needs because you have to sometimes, but also because you might just forget. And so I would just say to find something that is for you, just for you, something that is just for you, not the baby, not your husband, something that you love. So for me, I love filming stuff like this. I love to sing, so I am on the praise team at church, and just to get away, to go to rehearsals and to just do what I love is such a breath of fresh air. And when you come back, you just feel refreshed from doing what you love. So I would say to even wake up early, depending on your schedule and how your lifestyle is, wake up earlier than your child or your kids and just have some time to yourself. I've been starting to do that. I don't do it every single morning, but I've been starting to do that, and it does make a difference when you just wake up and you pray or meditate, whatever it is that you do some yoga, whatever. Have some time of silence to yourself before the chaos begins of the day with your little one. Make sure that you practice self-care for your mind, your body, and your spirit. Prayer, meditation, self-maintenance, maybe do your hair, get your nails done. Take care of yourself, girl, because you only get one life, and you don't want to look back and be like, dang, I really didn't take care of myself. I took care of everybody else but me. So don't let that happen. Don't let that be your story. Just make sure that you take time for yourself, because if you're not giving to yourself, how can you give to anybody else? So another thing that people might mention, but no one really talked to me in depth about motherhood, is patience, okay? I cannot say this enough. You're gonna need the utmost patience when you're a parent in general, father, mother. But for me, like being a stay-at-home mom, when I'm with my son 24/7 pretty much, you're gonna need the patience. Only God can supply, hallelujah. Like, I'm telling y'all, it is no joke. Like, there are times your baby will be in pain. They cannot communicate to you what it is that is going on, and to you, you're just like, yo, you're crying for no reason. Like, what is wrong with you? But it may be a tooth that's coming in that you can't see yet, or they might have a headache, or they might just be really, really tired. Like, there are gonna be some things, and like sometimes my son, he'll have this whole fit, this whole tantrum, just like sometimes, they act out a little bit, but there are times when it's something that they just can't communicate to you, and it's frustrating, because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And it's just like, sometimes that will make my whole day, and it shouldn't. I'm working on that. It will make my whole day just like, go down the drain. Like, my husband comes home, and then sometimes I'm not, as nice as I should be to him, because I've been in such a funk all day, in such a crappy mood all day. So definitely patience, learning how to respond in love and not in anger is what I'm working on. No one really goes in depth about these things. Like, you really gotta have patience. You really gotta learn how to respond. Not even learn, you have to practice it as well. When you practice something, eventually you'll get it. I have to practice every day to respond in love, not in anger, because my son is immature, he's a little baby. Now, I might be the only person that will say this out loud, but I lose patience with my son. So give this video a thumbs up if I'm not the only one, and you sometimes, you might lose patience, you might respond in anger instead of love. Don't front, because I know I'm not the only one. Find out what your triggers are. Like, for me, it could be like when he just starts screaming out of nowhere and I'm trying to do something. That might be a trigger for any mother, but for me, that's one of my triggers, and that's when I notice that I might respond in anger sometimes. So yeah, just learn your triggers and then practice how you should respond in love, because sometimes my mood will rub off on him. Like, if I respond in anger, he might get upset too. Like,
why are you why are you mad at me, Mom?
But that's the biggest one for me, the patience. Patience, Lord, I need it. But that is all that I have for you guys today. I really hope that this was helpful, because it felt good to get this off my chest, because people don't talk about these things. Like, why don't they talk about these things? Every mother should know this. Like, if you are a new mom, I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel because I would love to have you join the family. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video.